Hi, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Mostly Off.
Welcome.
Please,
Come in. Make yourself comfortable. Pour yourself a drink and prepare for the one.
It's gonna be a long one.
Hi, welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays Laughter and Dragons. I'm going to keep one of those intros in, I think, is what's going to happen. So this is episode 22 by the time I edit episode 21, I think. Session 11 is where we're at. I'm joined by the usual crew. I'm joined by Ben.
Well, hello there.
Joe.
Hello.
Matt.
Hi.
Classic. We are playing the One Ring First Edition. Not yet got our grubby little mitts on the second edition. We're possibly about to be interrupted. No, we're not. We're playing Laughter Dragons. We play it pretty much by the book. So, spoiler alert: if you are playing Laughter Dragons, if you're thinking about playing Laughter Dragons, if you're running Laughter Dragons and you don't want to read ahead, I don't know why that would be a spoiler to you. Or even if your lore master has just decided that you're going to head off to Erebor or to Dale and maybe going to incorporate some stuff. So just be warned that we will spoil it. And as usual, the stream could get interrupted at any point by any number of things. The internet going down, my lad coming in and wanting to say hello to everybody. He's currently in a big Jurassic Park thing, so it's all about velociraptors and T-Rex. So if you're interested to know about velociraptors and T-Rex, maybe stay around. Don't know. We're just a gaming group playing the One Ring, so we don't always get it right. We don't always follow the rules. We're not a shining example of the one true way in which you should play the One Ring. We're just having a game and enjoying ourselves. So don't think if the guys on Mostly Off Topic did it like that, then that's the way in which it should be done. Because frankly, it probably isn't. If I'm entirely honest, it works for us, and that's all we can say.
You're saying we're not role models, Paul?
We are.
Well, we model roles, which is true. Whether I guess what I'm saying is that please don't say, "Oh, the guys on Mostly Off Topic did this, therefore it must be 1, right for my group, 2, the best way to do things, 3, actually accurate according to any kind of concept of the rules," because neither of those things may be true.
We don't hold up in court.
Yeah.
I think it's probably true that we're all starting to let go of the rules a little bit now that we know that second edition is on the way as well.
Yeah, starting to let go of the rules is exactly where we're at.
that tenuous grasp we had is gone.
Yeah. We know that there are rules, and sometimes, like a stopped clock, we coincide with them.
Well, we've done videos about the rules before.
Oh, rules experts.
You know some of them.
Have I not mentioned the fact that we're rules experts? Joe is the rules expert. It would be fair to say.
It's a low bar. It's a low bar.
Fair enough. But then this. Thank you everybody for your views, for your comments, for generally being awesome. It fills my little heart with glee whenever I'm like browsing the One Ring stuff and somebody says, "Oh, you should check out Mostly Off Topic," or "You should have a look at these guys and what they're doing." It really is appreciated, and I guess notwithstanding what we just said about the fact that we aren't particularly special in terms of the way in which we're playing the game or anything like that, we are really pleased that we are able to help people enjoy the game and maybe see how it runs and see if it's for you, just encounter it, see enjoy doing that. So it is something that we take a great degree of pleasure from, and it really is good to get some of that feedback loops for us. We do read everything. I can say that with great confidence now. We read everything. So what happened previously?
We said we were going to go and find Domi at some ruins, and we didn't really. We got a bit distracted.
We said we were going to find out what had happened to him, and we did by finding a donkey whisperer up a tree.
Yeah, and we found a cairn in an old man's field and that was quite interesting for a bit. And it may be haunted, and maybe when we head back that way, he might be dead. But
50-50.
But yeah, we found one of Domi's party up a tree being hounded by wolves.
That's right. Yeah, Clifford, the donkey whisperer.
It was a Clifford hanger, that episode.
Oh,
Boom tish. I like it.
That's one for Doom Bunny.
That is indeed, yeah. And it was Cedric of Langset that you spoke to, and his burial grounds and such like. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Cedric of the Langset, long established.
Aye, that's right. That's right, lad.
Here we go again.
We should have asked him if he'd ever seen The Shining.
He had. He's read the book. He's watched a bit of the film, but his wife keeps falling asleep part way through, and he has to stop it and go away from it. It's too much. It's too much for him.
Probably shouldn't go into doctor sleep yet. Then.
That's right. And you had settled down for a night's rest on the road in the Grey Mountain Narrows, having spoken with Clifford, who had taken an arrow to the knee. And Clifford had told you that he had in fact been kind of contracted by Domi to like with his pack donkeys, trying to raise some money to get back to Bree, and that the group had been ambushed, had gone to one place where Domi thought that maybe some ruins hadn't found anything of substance there. We're returning back to go to the next place. Got ambushed by evil men, led by an orc that wielded a wicked bow, and in fact had put a very vicious looking wound, quite a nasty wound. Not just starting to kind of like start to rot and such like. Into
made significantly worse by our ministrations, I think.
I think you basically intended to chop the leg off, as far as I can recall.
Well, we better take his arms as well.
It's the only sensible option, and that they had killed some of the group with Derry, but not all of the group, and had kind of spirited them off along with Clifford's donkeys, and He was a little bit delirious, all things told. Either from just the general panic. Let me get this out of my eyes. Either the general panic and the to and fro, and the wolves had taken some chunks out of you as well.
Oh yes,
the wolves had taken some chunks out of you, as I recall.
Yeah, that is true. Still feeling the hurt.
Yeah, so
only just about fatigue.
Yeah. So you had taken a bit of a breather in any case and recovered some of your endurance, and had spent the night in the road, but not in the relatively safe and pleasant northern Dalelands where you were kind of either in a croft or a hay barn, or even just at the side in a copse of woods. This is a different, much more wild as you start to move into the foothills of the Grey Mountains proper. So you recover some endurance overnight, and an uninjured hero, so one that's not wounded, you recover just the flat 2 endurance points overnight.
Okay, so this is above what we've already...
above what you recovered immediately after the battle.
Excellent.
So, because you're technically on a journey and you're not safe off the road, so you don't recover as much from a prolonged rest as you would do if you were in lands of safety and what have you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm very nearly back up to full endurance.
So Clifford, it's been a long week. So are we gonna? What's the plan? Are we gonna follow them? I think I can probably track the ponies, the donkeys.
Are you well enough to travel, Clifford? I'm sorry that poking your wound with my pipe didn't help in some way.
I want to recover my beasts. I'm not going to let them. They'll not care for them. And Domi and the other companions too. We can't just leave them out there. That would be the wrong thing to do. Let's see if we can recover the tracks and see which way they headed.
We can track them. Aye, we must set off soon though. Are you fit to travel?
Well, weren't you? Wasn't the plan for you to head your way back to Dale, and we'll push on and look for the others? That was what we discussed last night before bed.
He's feeling better now, Cirque. Good night's rest has clearly got the wind in his sails.
I wouldn't want to leave the whole of the job to you. I should possibly go to Dale and see if I can rouse.
There's no wind in his sails at all. He's barely got any in his lungs.
I think we can squeeze a couple more scenes out of this.
I'd rather he was on his way.
Let's decide what our objectives are for this next little while before I head off, and I can be used as a narrative device to try to drive that conversation somewhat and frame it within the fiction.
Objective one, get rid of Clifford. Objective two.
I'm not sure Paul can keep up this hyperventilation.
I can't. It really is a problem for me.
I don't see Clifford hanging around too long. If he wants to track his ponies, we've got no investment in this character and his well-being. He's a means to an end, surely.
We've got investment in cracking on and not being dragged behind by a limping asthmatic donkey fancier.
True, but he's also wolf bait.
I said that last time when I got in trouble. I wanted to leave him up the tree.
Did I say that in the common tongue? I thought I was speaking.
We're clearly speaking Dwarvish.
I'm not sure there's Dwarvish for donkey whisperer and wolf bait.
Donkey whisperer, wolf
bait. What are your feelings on this?
Well, he can tag along, I guess, if he can handle an axe or a sword or whatever. We can't carry him on our backs. And no disrespect to you, fella, but this is a serious business.
Well, I couldn't really catch everything that you said, but I heard you say the elves of Mirkwood, so I'm assuming that translates as wolf bait in the dwarven tongue. So,
yeah.
Look, I think it's probably best if I head back towards the Dalelands and maybe rouse a posse to see if we can chase down those wolves. I wouldn't want them attacking other travellers.
We need to get a handle on the wolves.
Seek out the homestead of the Lancets, Clifford, and see if they can tend to you.
Yes,
it's on the way back.
And don't go prodding their cairn.
I'll avoid prodding their cairn, though I'm not sure if that's some kind of direction or a euphemism for something. But in any case,
never prod a Lancet's cairn.
So we'll find out a little bit of information from Clifford in terms of how many ponies or party and
there were 3 ponies that were predominantly carrying kind of like mining gear that Domi had picked up on his way through the Northern Dalelands. Not proper mining gear. A lot of it's agricultural gear that could be used for mining or digging out, more than anything else. Your classic mattock is for the purpose that Eru intended, as opposed to the purpose to which you dwarves put it. And
a donkey.
There were three of them.
Donkey.
And I think that there was Domi and at least 3 dwarves that were that he couldn't quickly find the bodies of, and he thinks that the tracks that he saw before he started to head away were heading kind of east, following the foothills of the Grey Mountain, as it kind of headed that way.
Perilous territory.
Yeah, and you also have your kind of map, though it's not an especially detailed map. It's not kind of like it's not like a OS Land Ranger 1 to 25,000 scale, but you've got the location of the 3 areas that Domi had identified as being the most likely of the places
so
for
they'd
this
already been to
research.
2 of them.
Already been to 2 of them, yeah, and hadn't found anything. So the 3rd one was off in the wastes, which are off to the east, kind of where you're at.
Okay, so we've got a pretty clear path ahead of us then, and objective is going to loosely be about getting there. And then do we want to kind of add a sort of time measure in that we want to get there in time to help Domi?
I think we just want to. Do we not just want to catch up with either the band or yeah, we could say to assist in his. Or should we just say to instigate a rescue?
Well, they're being tracked, aren't they, by these evil men with an orc with a big bow?
Well, they've got them with them. They've taken.
Yeah,
them.
so they've taken them. Yeah.
Right.
So he's already caught. We need to rescue.
They've taken Domi and his
The guy
crew
with the wicked bow.
captured.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Let's make
Rescue Domi.
let's put a stake in the sand then and say we're going to rescue Domi and his crew.
Or die trying.
I'm with that. That is the
Yeah,
way.
I'll sign up for that as well, and then we can celebrate with 1 or 15 ales.
Fortune and glory. I mean, honor for the dwarves.
Okay, so it is try to get to the location of the tomb, rescue Domi and his crew, or die trying. So at least then,
so
if
if
you
we
die
die, we
trying,
get
you'll
XP.
get your XP. That's right.
When we res at our last save point, we want those XP.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of head. So Clifford leaves you and kind of like makes his way down towards the northern Dalelands, which is not much more than a day or so to the southeast. You travel maybe a mile or 2 further forward, and you can kind of see the scene of battle laid out in front of you. The dead bodies of the men and women that had accompanied Domi, 4 of them, look as if they've been kind of had some carrion around them, some carrion creatures, so chewed a bit, dragged off the road a little bit, that kind of thing. As you kind of go and you cause a few birds to rise up, crows rise up off the corpses as they're kind of like settled on there. Quite a smell in the air, and then a fairly straightforward to follow track, kind of heading off to the east.
This is a dark business, so I don't think we want to linger here and look through the corpses. Really, that doesn't seem.
We already know what happened pretty much, don't we?
Yeah, and we don't really know how to honour them in any kind of way. We wouldn't want to lose time by burying them or anything like that.
We can honour them with a beer in Dale. That's safe and sensible, I think.
It's what they would have wanted.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
I think Loftar's got a sub-objective here.
Yeah.
Let's just get hammered.
Loftar wants to get back to Dale and have a beer.
Yeah. So
That's
let's
a default
forge eastwards towards the wastelands then.
Yeah, send
Do we want to?
Clifford the big red dog on his way.
Is it worth searching the area really quickly just for signs of the battle and any kind of trace of? So someone might have escaped. There might have been,
Signs of conflict. I see some signs of conflict.
I don't mind giving us a cursory look around just to make sure we're not going to.
Okay.
Even
Let's all
if
search.
it's to give us an idea of numbers or anything.
Yeah, so a search roll, an explore roll, even maybe a hunting roll or a battle roll would be relevant here. If you guys want to pick whichever one you're going to do, and then just like describe how you see that happening, based upon it.
In the interest of earning advancement points, I would go with either explore or hunting or battle, really. But what do you think?
Any of that, I don't mind. So yeah, if you're going with battle, then you're going to kind of be observing the possible engagement. You know, how much of the battle was at close quarters, how quickly you thought it was. So you might learn about relative numbers. If you go with search, then you might find out if where people came from, where they were. So you'll possibly learn different things depending upon what skill you choose to kind of go with.
Yeah. In that case, I'll go with hunting because that's Torg's background, and he'd be more of that mindset. So looking for where the arrows may have been coming from, and the position of the kill.
Yep.
Tracks away from the battlefield and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so give me a hunting roll, Torg.
So that's 2 points. I have Sauron, a 3 and a 4, so that's not good, and no point in trying to fudge it with a hope.
The arrow came from the sky. Maybe.
So you think it was a quick engagement? It was incredibly one-sided, and it looks as if the group had surrounded, so the attackers had surrounded, and it was a good, quick, clean ambush. But you can't really establish how many there were, or much detail, kind of like beyond that. With that
okay, that's
anybody else?
I want to approach with the sort of battle. Use my experience in the battle to see actually what a little bit of a detective hat situation. What's occurring. What's happened here. What forces perhaps assailants, stuff like that. So I'm using battle then.
Looked RPI.
That's it.
On.
That's mine.
But also just from Gavin Stacey.
I should make a t-shirt. Maybe at some point. Okay. So my search is.
So you're using battle or search?
Sorry, no. Yeah, of course, battle. Yes, I say different things sometimes, and I mean different things. 21. It's a great success. Which.
Good stuff. So take any advancement points that you get there. You've got the orc. You've got the traits of enemy law orcs. If a trait and a trait it's needed for an advancement point, and you can earn it through that. So you're kind of like having a look more at the position of the bodies and kind of like observing the arrows and the shafts that are kind of like put in there, as opposed to looking at that. Torg has already established kind of like it was an ambush from all sides. This was a pretty comprehensively executed thing, and you can see that there's no marks of close combat. So whatever opening volleys there were, and any subsequent kind of ranged work dealt with the men and women here. They didn't have to have close engagement, and there were basically two types of arrow. There's what you would think would be a pretty standard arrow from that you could get in Fletcher's down in Dale, kind of like hunting arrows more than anything. And then there's another much more kind of like thick, crude orc arrow embedded into one of the corpses, and the wound festers with the signs of orc poison around the wound.
Looks like a professional job, gentlemen. Nice and clean. If orcs can be clean, that is.
Yeah, so with great success, you can see the marks of the poison.
And there's some ill intentions I sense, because they have used poison and
and also killed a lot of people. Yeah. It was well intentioned.
Why poison?
This wasn't an accidental ambush.
So Clifford may be poisoned, and he may not make it back to Dale or even to the Langsits. Oh well.
We just
I
added
said,
to
do
the
you want to have
list,
a go
you
at
know.
another go at prodding his wound to see if you can fix it this morning when you're less
I
tired,
have poison on my pipe now.
as opposed to just rotting, festered knee wound.
Well, it's good for the immune system. Softens you up.
We've done
He's
what
just
we
been
could, I think.
vaccinated. He got the Astra Mordor vaccination.
Yeah, kicked his ass.
The Rohan jab.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't think we should linger here too long.
Can I do my search?
Yeah.
Oh,
of course.
you'd search for Sig.
I want to look specifically to see if stuff's been taken off them. So if they were like robbed as part of an ambush, or if it looks more like they were here specifically to take Domi, as in like, and they've left the bodies with stuff that a normal bandits would have taken, kind of thing.
Okay.
And I got higher Sauron, but I still got a 16 great success.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not pleasant work looking through the bodies and kind
I'm
of like,
hardy.
yeah, but even
I have
so,
the hardy trait.
it still remains unpleasant. So you can feel the shadow kind of like, and a little bit of discomfort settling on you as you've chosen not to kind of like honor them with a burial and so on. So I was thinking about a corruption roll anyway, just because it's not a particularly, good, but the rationale that you're using to kind of say, no, we've got to get onto the road, all that kind of stuff is pushing the shadow back a little bit. So that's some of the flavour of the Day of Sauron. But odd things have been taken, and by odd I mean kind of like it looks like somebody's hefted some boots from one of the bodies. There's a belt missing from one. Anything that looks as if it would have sparkled like is gone. There's a white mark where there would have been a ring on a finger, for instance. But then just odd things that you don't think would. And the boots of the other companions don't look as if they're anything special.
But probably better than who stole them.
Yeah, so you can possibly infer from that whomever took the stuff was a little bit desperate just for better quality gear or what have you, but it doesn't. Yeah,
it's got to be fairly desperate. Okay. Do we want? You say you want corruption?
No, I decided I was weighing up a corruption roll, but I decided that it would make sense that you would move on with your noble goal of
death or dishonor.
Yeah. So you're not mutilating the bodies or anything like that, but you're just kind of going, war's war. We need to get on with our next goal, kind of thing.
Functional search and then off.
Okay. So you can kind of make a relatively safe assumption that they're heading off towards the final of the areas, the points for Derby. So you've got a bit of a journey ahead of you, and as you kind of like set off, get your move away from the dark business that was undertaken here, and you start to kind of trudge and kind of like move forward, and you're moving back across the foothills of the grey mountains, and nobody's tried to hide their tracks particularly or anything like that. And where you've got a doubt as to which way you're going, you've kind of always got a general sense of the direction that you need to be kind of taking, to be following in any case. So it's not as if you need to make explore, search, or hunting rolls to kind of like be following these tracks particularly. But it is a journey. So if we could have a preliminary lore test for the journey you're about to embark upon.
Just the feet die.
Okay.
What's the target? Is it 14, isn't it?
14, yeah.
6.
I shall dip into the
20 great success.
Yeah.
20 great. Okay, cool. So you get a couple of success dice, bonus success dice for journey activities.
I'll dip into the common pool because of I've got a great success. Sorry, yeah, great success, but I've not met the threshold. So I'm thinking I could spend one of those points of hope, one of our 4 points.
Or we could just use like if bearing in mind what we might face, do we want to save them for later? And like I've got 2 stat bonus success die that I can give to people if we need them. Or if you want a trait out of it.
That's fine. I mean, the law is. I should have perhaps maybe used determined to auto pass it. But yes, law. What was that? That's just extra dice for.
Yes,
for
this is the preliminary test for travel. So you're kind of like thinking about the route that's ahead, the best way to go. You know you're going to start by skirting across the top of the northern Dale land, so that might be a little bit easier. But then you're going to hit the waste, and the waste still is the land of shadow. It suffers from the dragon sickness quite badly. It was one of the more fertile areas of the kingdom of Dale before the coming of the dragon, and the desolation of Smaug sits quite heavily upon that still. You've heard tales that it was to the waste that the master of Esgaroth was banished and fled after he tried to dupe the people there.
Mm. So yeah,
I guess that
I'd agree with Ben on that. You get bonus dice, Matt. If you pass this, you get some bonus dice that you can use during the journey. Otherwise, keep hold of the fellowship points. Use them when we get there.
Okay, can you get an advancement point from that? If it's a great success.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to spend it to get your pip, then knock yourself out.
Yeah, I think because I would. Yeah, I'll probably use my determined then. Spend that. Use my determined to say, I'm really keen to understand how we need to go about this journey and where we need to get to get these sort of extra dice. I mean, we have 4 points because I'm putting 2 in. Last session I was keeping tally, so we haven't spent 1. So maybe I don't think we're spending points of hope at all after the last session. So that's my case for using that point.
So if it gets you your advancement point, knock yourself out.
Is that? I'm not saying it's not, but is determined the right trait?
Is this for your 3rd?
Yeah.
Go on, Matt. Sorry.
Well, the other one is I can use hardened. So this is trying to understand the journey that's ahead of us, right?
Yeah, so this is a preliminary roll. So this is kind of like getting yourself set, choosing the right place, thinking about what you know about the places you're going to, and make sure you've got the right gear and the right mindset and stuff like that. But basically, yeah, using what knowledge you have of these lands, because we've got to remember that Middle Earth is a place where most of the people don't travel much further than the horizon that they can see. So it's about understanding the area you're going to. So you know that the waste is a dangerous place. You know the withered heath that you're going to be kind of crossing beneath is a dangerous place. So it's a table discussion whether we think that determined and hardened are traits that are applicable in this circumstance, and if there's
hardened,
hardened,
probably hardened is probably better because of the experience they may have had, traveling with troops or other teams in the past through a similar region.
I'd see it more if it was actually the travel roll. I could see you using it, but for we're planning our route. I don't know how being particularly hardened matters, unless it is that you say that you've been here before and this is where you've been. That area had hardened you, but that's me. It's to me it's a bit of a stretch to take a 3rd on it.
Yeah, because yours is hardened rather than hardy as well.
So yours is. I always thought yours was more like you've actually Like you wouldn't feel emotion over leaving the bodies, or you're not scared by things rather than.
Yeah, so my view would be that
hardened
wouldn't really apply to this role. Would be my thought process.
Just having a look, just to be sure I understand.
You show the mettle of a seasoned adventurer. Misfortune has taken its toll on you, and you've seen too many hard deeds. I mean, determined. When you set yourself a goal, you pursue it relentlessly.
Is that relentlessly planning for a journey? See, I've got determined, and I wouldn't personally push for that on a lore roll. That's like if it was the journey, if we were actually taking a step in the journey, and it was like, is it worth passing it to actually pass this thing? Like, then it'd be like, I'm hardy, or I'm determined, I push myself through, or I'm hardened. I've been in this situation before, but.
Yeah, I'm lukewarm on this one, I think. And if it was like, I don't know. I do think when we get there, we're going to need fellowship points and hope points.
Okay. So I think
key consideration for me.
So I think, in summary, the general consensus is that it wouldn't be appropriate to spend the fellowship point.
That's fine. I don't want to. No point pushing.
I mean, if you want to get in your car, drive around to Joe's and smash his face in because of that, then
I'm hardened.
I'll show you what just shows how determined you are to get that point. But,
No, it's fine.
I've removed the dund, and I'm hard, and I'm going to come around and give you a kick.
I mean, you could go and do that to Ben, but it would just take most of the evening. And
I was going to say, I'm just not worth it. I'm too far away.
I don't want to. I don't think it's worth stalling the sort of journey. Let's just.
Okay.
It's just a roll.
So you kind of work out which way you're going to go. We could pull the map out, but it's pretty much you're going east. And you start to move. You move out. You've always got this cold wind coming down off the Grey Mountains, and you've got the acridness of the air and a slight gritty texture to the wind as it comes down. But as you move back down into the lower foothills and you start to kind of get out of that the height of it, down to skirt the top of the Northern Dalelands, it becomes much more easy going for you. You're starting to pick up some of the more worked paths. At this end of the Northern Dalelands, it's not really the big arable farms that you kind of saw as you got closer to Dale. This is more subsistence farming. There's a lot less goods that are kind of like coming into the city from here. It's more about sort of supporting the farms, and you see that most of the farms, there are clutches of buildings. So the farm buildings for like maybe 3 farms are all kind of like built very close to each other to have a sense of community, and then the kind of fields go off, and it's more kind of sheep farming than it is kind of crops. So there are small crops and such like. So let's have a fatigue test as you kind of keep going. It takes you about 3 days to traverse the top of the Northern Dalelands.
This is a travel roll?
It is a travel roll, yes, that's correct. Against target number 14.
How was everyone's travel?
I've got 3. So I'm all right.
How many have you got? No, how many in travel do you get?
So you think...
Sorry,
you're going to be making 2 travel rolls.
Cut out something.
Sorry, guys. You're going to be making. So just for context, then, so you're going to be. You know that you're going to get to where you think you're going on the map. You reckon it's going to be about a week's worth of travel, and therefore you're going to be making a couple of rolls. You know that the waste is going to be harder journey, and therefore mechanically you know that the target number will be higher. So just so that you guys as adventurers would know that. So you as players should also know that as well. Sorry, Matt, to interrupt you.
No, sorry, it's just saying to Ben that you cut out, so I didn't quite get what you said.
How many dice do you get for travel?
I've got 2.
Do you want a bonus dice? Because
So
then
if
at
you
least
give-
we're all rolling 3. And then
Is
the
it-
same
do
for the next one.
Do you then re-roll it? Do you do re-roll it continuously throughout the sort of journey?
No, you get to spend it on this fatigue test, and then we've got another one that you can spend on the next one.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay.
so this is target. This is target number 14, and we need to pick rolls as well.
Guide.
Oh, I
Or
think
something
I'm
still
scouting, whatever searches. I think it's, but I think we do the same thing with Joe. So 2 scouts.
I'm huntsman. I'll be huntsman.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll scout.
21 great success.
Okay.
21, nothing special.
Got 16. Yeah, 16 great success.
Okay. So this part of the journey is
Now I will try and ask if my hardy gets me my last pip. If I can argue that.
this is the easy part of the
do we feel this
journey.
is the easy bit?
Yeah.
Damn it. Fair enough. I'll leave it to the next one.
Yeah.
In that case, can I invoke smoking to have a particularly pleasant part of the journey and get
you can. Yeah. Why? No. I don't.
Stop giving us away.
I don't see that being
Yeah,
that relevant either.
Really?
Well,
Damn it.
No, seriously. Are we all cool with that?
so do we think?
I mean-
that's smoking?
It's Tolkien-esque.
I don't think if we're pushing to follow a group of people to save somebody, I don't think you'll let me just do me pipe. I wouldn't say for smoking. If we were doing a stroll, like the first bit before we got to the farms, maybe, and it was just like, yeah, like I break open my pipe and enjoy myself. But no, not when we're trying to chase down a horde of men and orc people who've stolen one of our friends.
Okay, party pooper.
I like how gracious Matt
Ben,
was, and it stands in sharp contrast to Joe.
We all know Ben likes playing a nope card.
True, it is my favourite mechanic in anything.
Yeah, he plays blue in Magic. So
He calls it thinking.
So it's going to take you 3 days to travel. So you've got 3 nights where you're able to recover 2 endurance, like each evening. So you can recover up to 6 endurance on this stretch of the journey, as you're working through.
That's handy.
Every night I will be utilising spells of prohibition and exclusion to basically, so we can sleep the whole night through without having to stand a watch because we'd get alerted by the spell.
And there's this sharp kind of like contrast between the kind of ease of the journey and the abundance of game and kind of like food stuff that you're able to obtain through here, and the nature of the journey that you're on. At some points, Torg does reach for his pipe and just is enjoying a bit of a smoke, and then he sort of, maybe a sense of guilt falls upon him as he kind of remembers that it's for the companion Domi that he spent some time in the Golden Sheaf over a beer with, and he feels Cirque's eyes burning at him.
I feel he
Lord
feels
Masters.
more regret by him starting to smoke his pipe, and then there being a flutter of game that gets away, and we're like, you can't be in a hide having a smoke. It's not the back of the bus sheds.
It's Cirque tutting every 2 minutes.
He takes the fun. He takes the fun out of it.
Cirque's trying to work out if he could use spells of opening and closing to seal your tobacco pouch permanently.
Maybe you need to research that. I don't know. Okay. As you kind of start to move on in through the 3rd day and into the 4th day, the terrain changes. It changes quite sharply. No longer is there even the meager grass that the sheep can live on. This is burned ground. There's no great game to be seen around. What would have been a copse just stands as charcoal, charred, stand of trees, and the wind howls. A cold cuts through kind of your gear. You're quite pleased that you brought some of the autumnal gear with you for your traveling gear, as you kind of add additional layers on. The sunlight is a pale, weak thing that generates no great warmth. And the grit and the dust, it just kind of cakes you, and kind of at points where the wind picks it up and smashes it kind of like into your skin. It's like sandpaper across the place. And all the time you come across small reminders of the fact that this was a very fertile and very vibrant area. Burned ruins of a hamlet. Kind of, you spend a few hundred yards walking along a road before it gets broken again. And the shadow starts to just sap at you, and the weariness, no matter what your kind of focus, starts to kind of really kind of lay toll upon you as the true desolation of Smaug and the action of that ferocious entity and the dragon fire is laid bare, particularly in contrast to the way that Erebor has really been built, and the vibrancy that you kind of see and remember from Dale and the towers, and the water and the life that was there and through the northern Dale lands. This is a torn and a broken land. So let's have some fatigue tests at 18.
Out of character, is this more like, because I always thought like the Dragonfire, you burnt it all, but like ash, volcanoes, forest fires, it's actually good for the soil. This is more like he's nuked it, then I take it.
Yeah, very much so.
Taken all the microbes and all the life out of the soil, so it's dust and decay rather than.
And there's a spiritual element to the shadow as well, in that. So not wanting to get too much into the lore, because I'm not the most deep into Tolkien's lore, but one of the things that happened when the world was being created and the symphony was being created from which the world kind of elements sprung, Morgoth kind of corrupted it slightly and introduced dissonant notes or notes that were different from what Eru intended, and that's force is the shadow, so it's like inbuilt into the world. So there is a metaphysical kind of like darkness and tragedy that is just a force of nature, like gravity. You can't escape it, no matter what you like. So no matter how noble a character you are, part of you is from shadow. So Smaug's actions and the devastation and the desolation of Smaug are at a metaphysical and a spiritual level as much as they are at a physical kind of like level as well. So the act of the destructive act impacted the very nature of the lands as much as the actual physical burning of it, which, as we know, would cause regeneration and things that sprout anew. But this is nuked, but nuked in a sense of
burnt it down and salt the ground territory.
And the hatred and the intent to harm that was the engine that fueled Smaug's dragonfire has a spiritual dimension to it, as well as the physical aspect as well. So the corruption test is about your kind of resistance to that metaphysical element as it is anything else.
It's like an echo, isn't it? You know, it's become a blighted place.
That's right. That's right.
So I like the musical notes thing. So basically,
I thank Tolkien, jazz. Not me.
That's what I mean. So it's basically he put dissonant notes in that wrecked it all. So it's basically jazz.
He kept leading them astray, didn't he?
Yeah.
He started playing his own tune.
It's
again,
well
jazz.
It's that's not an endorsed position for Mostly Off Topic. We also like a bit of jazz ourselves. But it's worth looking at, and this isn't I don't think it's an original idea from Tolkien either. Yeah, there's music as a creative force, and the symphony and the Song of the Angels and such like and so forth draws roots from very many other views of the world. But that's how it is in Middle Earth.
Cool.
And again,
So,
I may have
What were you
completely,
asking? But tries to take us off topic.
I may have completely
off topic, on
mangled
topic.
and missed nuances from Tolkien, for which I apologise to all the Tolkien experts out there.
So, were you wanting fatigue or corruption?
So we're going to do both, but we'll start with a fatigue test as this, and this is against 18,
Right.
target number 18, because the
Do you want to
goad
take the
is
extra
tough.
dice again, Matt?
There's a lot less
So-
game, a lot harder to keep lookouts on and so forth.
So
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks, Ben.
and at least we've got 3 each, then it kind of evens it out.
Yeah.
This is the fatigue test.
Yep.
5 Eye of Sauron.
Oh, okay.
Is it the Witch King from
This is gonna
Mars
trigger-
flying in?
Oh man, instant Witch King.
Swoop
It's-
in.
it's
Don't
the Witch
swoop
King.
in.
Teleports in. It's like
Instant.
Insta King. What did everybody else get?
19, great. Can I use Hardy to get my final pip?
Yeah, here
Yes.
we go. Let's do it.
Yes,
I-
yes, you can.
Can I use determined? I want to use determined. I'm determined to move forward.
Determined would make sense as well in
Determined
the
to get the pip.
circumstance. Yeah.
I'm both hardy and determined to get my final pip.
Yeah.
And I'm hardened and determined as well.
Yeah.
You're
okay.
aroused.
that
So,
right?
so
I'm engorged.
what did you roll, Matt?
Yeah, sorry, I've got 19 great success.
Yeah, okay, so you're good
Courtesy
as well.
of Ben, so I'll add that little.
Joe, do you want to
dot.
spend a point or anything to get through? Or is your eyes
It's not-
on too much?
Is not going to help.
Yeah, so Joe, so Torg will take a fatigue increases by 3
Yeah,
because you're
and
fairly
I've
fit.
triggered a hazard.
You have triggered a hazard, and ironically, as the desolation kind of like hits home, you turn to what is normally a source of great comfort for you, which is your smoking, and
My pipe.
you start to chain smoke through, and by the end of the second day, you realise your cache of pipe weed is depleted.
Oh.
So could you make me?
That's totally like a card, isn't it? Like
Could you
it's
make
like
me a
like
wisdom?
your empty pipe out.
A wisdom check,
roll.
yeah, test, or you'll become miserable for the length of the journey as you're not
No,
able
no.
to complete yourself.
Oh, he's gonna have to like the DTs or something, isn't he? As well.
Yeah,
It's only
withdrawal symptoms.
I'll be stuck for days.
I'm not an addict, honest.
I mean, maybe Domi will have some. No,
Yeah.
he's been captured. These evil men will have taken it up. All right, yeah, wisdom. What's going on with the dice tonight? 15.
Oh, 15's good enough. 15's good.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'll be standing
He
outside the corner
discovers
shop trying to get some backy from people.
A pipe pouch, pipe patch.
Yeah.
Get him through.
So
Well,
whilst
it's
you,
not the end of.
go on, sorry.
There are more important things than pipeweed, and for now, perhaps I've been smoking a little too much recently. Anyway.
Talk is like-
you like some sort of changeling.
Yeah, he's been
I'm
replaced by a
eyeing
pod person.
because I'm sure I have more. I'm sure I brought more than this with me.
You've smoked on an average 27 pipes worth every 22 minutes for the last 4 hours. That's why you're out.
That's a lot of
Not that
fucking
you're
smoking.
counting.
He's like,
Classic. So as you're trudging through and you're feeling the land sapping at you, could we have a corruption test as well, please?
is this Valor? Is that how you do corruption?
No.
This is wisdom, right?
Is
Wisdom again, is it?
Yes.
Wisdom.
Oh, yeah, it's fear
Because you have
that's
to be
valid, isn't it?
wisdomable.
Yeah, that's
You have
right,
to be
yeah.
wisdomable to do these things.
And I think
Yes,
this is
by
against
Alaric.
14. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's against 14.
Come on, dice.
Come on, dice.
Okay, this is better. 13, 17, 23 great success.
I'll do it. Yeah.
18 great success.
That'll do
Hey
it.
up.
Don't get anything for that, though, do you?
Just
You
not
get
being
pat
corrupted.
on the back. You can have pat on the back from Loftar. Well done. Come on.
What did Loftar get?
Loftar is on 19 great success.
Wow, look at you guys. So
Shining.
whilst the land is desolate and bleak and has been, as Joe says, blighted by the fire of Smaug, a combination of wanting to reach your purpose and the fact it's maybe not dwarven lands, and
Yeah. So, are we NIMBYs? Not in my backyard.
I think you possibly are. If if this was the Kingdom of Erebor or Dwarven land, then perhaps it would have hit you harder. But to a certain extent, this is stuff that's happened to others, and we've already established that the Dwarven Free People Front that your members
We're
are
not the most empathetic.
not necessarily to the plight of the land of Dale in any case. And you kind of keep trudging on through, following the brief signs of the tracks as you kind of move on. And after 4 days of marching across the waste with the fierce winds blowing in, you kind of settle down. So when you're in the waste, the rest isn't sufficient for you to recover endurance. I don't think you're not able to regenerate the energies and fight against the weariness. There's this a storm starts to whip up the ash. Fine grit swirls around, gets everywhere, all into your equipment, the possessions. And when you wake the next morning, the tracks, even those limited number of tracks that you were following, are just swept away in the dirt of what you've got to do again. So to find the tracks, you're going to need to kind of like maybe scout the area or what have you to be able to do that. So again, hunting, explore, or search to try to locate the tracks of where you're headed to.
Yeah.
Then
Let's do
explore
it.
to see if I can find anywhere that is
so-
like maybe a bit more
search,
sheltered.
You've got your map, so you can roll the feat dice twice and take the greatest one, because you've kind of got this sense of the place that you're headed to, and that will help you orientate yourself.
I think I'm going to go with hunting again.
I'll just keep searching.
My feet die. Double Eye of Sauron.
Whoa.
What's the best one, though?
The dark blue one. It shows up better with the gold. But I did still get 17 regular success
Wow.
Good lad.
because I've got 4 dice in
Just
it.
push the Sauron aside and say, look,
And
just
if
move
we
on.
if we roll, I can spend a point of hope to make it 26 regular success.
I don't think it'll make that much difference.
I don't think it's worth it.
Why not?
Okay.
What's the target number, Paul?
14.
14.
Let's do it.
Double Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, I'll fail.
Yeah, okay.
Darn. I've got 17, just an average
Okay.
ordinary success.
So this is like a prolonged roll as you're searching for these tracks. So it looks like Cirque and Loftar together have found what could be kind of the tracks, or it could possibly just be kind of some animals and whatnot. So you're looking, so you can make 2 rolls every day, and you're looking
cool.
to see how many days it takes you to kind of like to get there essentially. So if you want to make your second
So I get
round of
double D,
you'll get that all the way because you kind of like know the general direction. So you've got an indicator.
Is this
which
all?
helps? Yeah, everybody can make the second rolls.
Sorry, Paul, without taking the mickey too much, I remember you could have...
Smithcraft will not apply.
No, I was thinking tunneling, really, but did we have that situation where you can invoke a trait to get the second point? Is that right? Because that was the alternative option, right?
No, so you can't invoke the trait to get the second point. You can invoke a trait to automatically pass the roll. That's the minimum successes.
You can argue for the it's great. It's regular. It's a success.
Yeah.
Then it's
a great,
great.
it's great,
and then
trait.
it's great or a trait, and then it's great and a trait for number 3.
It's a great or a trait.
Yeah, in the middle.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because
Okay.
that was the bit that we always did wrong. We'd only ever done.
Okay, tunneling won't really apply because you are out in the open, and that's not really the definition of
No,
a
no,
tunnel,
I was
all
joking
things
with that. I was
considered.
really wanting to go like with determined, just to make you a little bit. I am determined to find where we want to go. You know, we will find Domi and on any of the roles. But if I take it now, then I don't have to, make my silly case.
Determined is fine. Yeah,
I'll go with that actually because it means you're set on your goal.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you're fighting through being disheartened because you didn't see it. So you go on to the next ridge. You look. The slightest sign that it could be this way, you explore it to the end until it really finishes. So the determination to keep it going means that you don't cut corners. You kind of go head down, off you go. I can't.
TN 14 again, was it?
I think sometimes, when you're pitching these things, like I'm going to use this trait, I think a little bit of role play can really help you sell it to the table. Because you're like, this is how I'm doing it. You show everyone what it looks like.
Pretty much so what Paul just did with role playing it. You've got your head down, and I put my head down and I push through, and etc.
Yeah, that's
but us doing it actually rather than just Paul's just.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it 14 again?
14 again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got. At least I seem to have been like double rolls on the feet. I don't seem to help me any. But I got a 14 regular success.
Okay.
On explore.
I'm failing.
Okay.
I've got 16, just a regular.
Okay. So you pushed on through the day, and you haven't found anything clear or definite, but you've got a sense that you're moving in at least the right direction based upon the kind of map and the way that Circus has been trying to kind of like do things. The night doesn't bring a great deal of rest to you, even though you know that you're protected by the ancient dwarven skills that Cirque can bring to bear, and you wake again the next morning with a this is going to be the day that we kind of find this, that we're going to push through. I think everybody's got some version of determined or hardened or hardy as one of their distinctive features. So kind of let's have another set of rolls.
Hunting again.
Yep. Okay.
Actually, no. I'll use explore.
Okay.
Still 2 dice. Okay, 13 great success. I'm going to spend a point of hope.
Okay.
To boost it to 19 great success.
Okay, cool.
And I'll take a fellowship point if that's all right.
Yep. 21 great.
Okay.
Tordek search. 22 great success.
Explore.
Okay.
Gets me a dot.
The pale sun is starting to descend a little bit as you start to move towards the evening, and everything's grey and murky in any case, and you're starting to think that the search is kind of going to go across into another day when you hear the distinct sounds of like what you think to start with is animals fighting just from over a crest, and carefully you move forward because partly from your knowledge of hunting and so on, having an alpha predator, which is what it would have to be out here, would be unusual. And then you kind of see that there's 2 sides gently kind of go down, and you can pick out 2 figures there and a number of other figures milling around with the dirt kind of pushing up between them, and it looks like they're having a good classic kind of Saturday night standoff where they're kind of like pushing each other and
I'll be back.
There's a distinct argument, and two groups have gathered around, clearly having taken sides. They're paying no heed to you. There may be 400 or 500 feet away from where you are as you've just crested a ridge and you're looking down. And as your kind of eyes adjust a little bit to this, you can see the dark entrance of what to start with looks like it's a cave, but then as you kind of look a little bit closer, the entrance is too regular. It's not a natural opening. This is kind of like got columns outside. It looks like rubble has been moved away from the entranceway, not wholly. And you see what look to be 4 dwarven figures kind of sat down, taking a moment's respite, just down by the entrance. There's 5 quite tall, bulky figures on the left-hand side of this argument, and 1 additional figure of a similar bulk in the centre. Then a small, almost kind of goblin-like creature that seems to be having the argument, and then around about 6, maybe 7 human figures, race of man, gathered kind of slightly further back. Some look as if they've got kind of bows raised, some kind of got great axes, and then it kind of calms itself down a little bit, resolves itself, and the 2 principals kind of like move back into their respective groups. The bulky, strong figures kind of move to one side of this valley side, and the men led by the orc kind of to the other, and a few of them spread down to the dwarves and start to kind of grab the dwarves together, and then a fire light sparks up on one side of the hill, and another fire sparks up on the other, as kind of the evening starts to kind of descend down to start to become night. And I think we'll take a break there, if you guys don't mind, because we're about halfway through the session, and
Sure.
a nice place to
On a Clifford hanger.
Yeah.
on a hanging Clifford. Yeah. Okay. So what? Shall we take 10 minutes? Come back in 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll do an outro.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's an outro. Otherwise, it's always like, let's take a break. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. We had a journey mechanic. It was quite fun. Some interesting lore, some interesting observations, some interesting at the table discussion and mechanics there. And one of Joe, Ben, or Matt may have killed another of Joe, Ben, and Matt in the break. Who knows? As the trait wars spill over.
We will find out.
The trait wars have just begun.
The trait wars.
Let me just get my car keys and see you guys next time.
And I'm not going to mute anything this time, because last time I muted and didn't unmute, and I still have not worked out what the hell I'm going to do with that edit.